Hey gang, how are you? Alan Combies here, um, doing an official morning coffee with Alan video. Sorry for the groggy voice. I am just drinking my coffee and just waking up. And sort of hand holding the camera today, sorry for the shakiness. But I wanted to make a video, just something that was on my mind. And I've talked about this in other videos, and I think there's always a better way to, well, you know, I guess as I see it more and more clearly, I find it more and more important to try to communicate it more clearly, because I see it as a recurring challenge, especially with people that are working in FasterEFT, working on themselves. Maybe they've got a couple sessions with practitioners, but they still have questions, they still have concerns as they work on themselves, because they'll experience changes and they'll feel good for a little while, and then they'll go out and live life, and then they start to think, well, what if this comes back, or what if that comes back, or I had this experience and it didn't go very well. And so they start using the power of their minds and the power of thought to create more issues, more feelings. And one of the biggest things I see is people, saying, I got subconscious programming, therefore I'm, a victim of it. And to me, that's one of the sneakiest things, because we do have subconscious programming. It's called conditioning. We're born into the world and we're learning machines. And so we look to our immediate environment that includes our parents, our caregivers, our siblings, whatever we're born into, whatever environment we're born into, we look to that environment to shape our understanding of the world and how to get around in this world that we're born in. And that's all fine and good, because it's a survival. And as we grow up, as we as we encounter new ideas and new cultures and new people and new environments, those old habitual thought patterns, subconscious patterns, if you will, begin to get challenged, and their expiration date begins to expire. And not all of them, but some of them. In other words, it's not a problem until it's a problem. If you're trying to learn and grow and do something different, and you realize that you're coming up against some fears or anxieties and things like that, then it can be very tempting to blame things outside of you. To blame people, places, and circumstances for your behavior and your feelings. It can also be very tempting to blame future events that haven't even happened yet. But the power of your mind is that you can create these scenarios in your mind and believe that you can see the future. Now, is it helpful to sort of think about the future and plan and everything else? Of course it is, but there's something that you can account for, which is you are not the same person. You will not be the same person that you are today, that you are even a minute from now. And there is something you can account for, and that is what you're going to be thinking, what you're going to be doing. I mean, there is just no way that you can account for something that's beyond our comprehension, which is all the power of your mind, all the power, fresh new thinking, insight, creativity, who you will be next week, an hour from now, a minute from now. You can't take that into account. But we really think our thinking is so powerful, our minds are so powerful, that we create these scenarios and we think we're seeing the future, but we're really not. We're really not. The other thing is we look to what we think is our past. We look to memories, and we think that we're behaving the way we're behaving because of our parents, because of our upbringing, because of our subconscious programs. But these are all things, as long as we think these things are beyond our reach, like somewhere out there or deep inside, then again, we're handing over our power. And the answer, it's always right under our nose. The answer is always what we're thinking in that moment. So if I think that I have social anxiety, and I say, gosh, you know what, every time I get in front of somebody and try to talk, I get really nervous. Well, I'm going to reinforce that by projecting into the future. I'm going to reinforce that by judging myself from past experiences. In fact, that's really, having come from that place of being very, very socially awkward at times and needing, alcohol and other things to sort of loosen that to quiet my mind and use it as a social lubricant. I did that for years. And so coming from that experience, social anxiety is really just playing old memories, playing memories in your mind of things that you don't think went very well, and really judging yourself and condemning yourself for not handling those things well. But really all you're doing is replaying a scenario. You're not even replaying the actual event. You've tainted that event by your idea of who you think you are, and then replay it over and over in your mind and use that as proof that you are not good enough, smart enough, whatever. You're not, good in social situations, right? And so it works the same for anything. Now, again, the memories that, in other words, when I was rehearsing social awkwardness or social anxiety, it wasn't like I was, it wasn't like this mystical place called the past was feeding into my mind in the present. No, I am thinking in the present. It's the only place you can think, is in the present moment. So, again, to think that your behavior and your feelings are coming from some place outside of you, even if it's called the past, or even if it's called the subconscious mind, the thing about the subconscious mind is it's always happening now. And so really what it is just waking up to it. It's waking up to how you're creating it in that moment. And to me, that is the most powerful thing you can do, because as you wake up to the fact that you are creating this experience in the moment, you can begin to step away from it a little bit. And in my experience, this is what the art of change in FasterEFT is really for. It's for discovering how you're creating it in the moment, right? It's not looking for some, it's not digging around in some mystical place called the past. It's looking at how you're creating it in the moment, right? And then recognizing that once you begin recognizing that it is all thought, it is all feelings created by what you're doing in your mind, then you really don't, you can begin to question it, because it really comes down to a misunderstanding. It comes down to thinking that you're feeling something outside of you, or you're feeling, that your feelings are telling you some kind of truth, like, I'm not good with relationships, or I'm not good in social situations, or I'm not good, people don't like me, or I'm not smart. All of these ideas that we form, they're just made up. They're just made up. And of course, we reinforce them by our thinking in the moment. And our thinking can change. I mean, the whole reason FasterEFT works is because memories are just made up. And the deeper you look in that direction, the more you will be set free. And sometimes you won't, but that's okay. But if you understand that what you're feeling is always a reflection of what you're creating in that moment. It just might create some resiliency for you. It might allow you to be able to step back and relax just a little bit. And I say relax by really mean, that's what tapping is about, right? It's about relaxing the body, letting the mind clear. And as the mind clears and the mind settles, you begin to see things differently. I hope that helps. This is Alan Combies, another video in a series I call Morning Coffee with Alan. Have a great day, and we'll talk again soon.